time. It's 12 o'clock now, but I like to show that if you have to run, we really don't hold that against you. Apologies for being overtime. So I continue in exercise script. So if I just type ls, now it's slow. Anyone knows where the Dardel hangs? That is Dardel. Just try.
I'm just testing, it hangs.
Seems not our day today.
Yeah, I can't get into it. No.
So okay, I have a okay, let me share again. I'm doing that on my local Mac now. So perhaps I just make that larger. Sorry, I was set up to do that on Dardel. So I continue an exercise script. If I just type ls, I get these files. So if I do like that, if I hit the tab key, I get a beep. I'm not sure whether you hear my beeps. And if I hit tab a second time, it shows me everything, all the reasonable completions. So if I just type in F and hit tab again, it completes as far as I can do, as it can do. If you just have a look, for instance, possible completion starting with F is file dot dot, file 2 dot dot. So after file, it doesn't know. So by just giving a dot, if I hit now tab twice, I only get the completions which make sense on file dot. So it's file dot dot and file dot text. So what you have seen is I give one character, hit tab, it completes as far as it can go. And if I hit the second time, it shows me the options I have. So if I now type a T, it completes and I can run the command. I can now use the up arrow on my keyboard and it goes back one file. So I get the old command back. If I type a Control A, it jumps to the front. And I can use the left and right key arrows to move along here. So for instance, I had a previous run ls file.txt. I now want more detailed information. I can just go to that position, enter the -L, and get the modified command. Doing that again, going here. Control E goes to the end for end. Control A goes to the beginning. So I can jump. If I have a very long command line, I can jump directly. I can add here, for instance, file dot D and hit tab, autocomplete, and it runs. Using the up arrow, for instance here, lsfile.txt, I can use Ctrl A. I can go here and then delete that and replace with cut, and I get the contents. So if I have it listed, I can exchange the command like this. Alternatively, Ctrl A and Escape D deletes exactly one word. And I can, for instance, replace that with more. This I personally find extremely useful if I use wildcards. ls file star. So if I just want to delete the file.dat fields, this has too much. I can now work on my thing, for instance, .dat. There's one too much. So I just, for instance, have created this mask, which exactly picks out file 2.dat. And if I want to delete that, I can now go in here, escape D, RM. This is something I personally find extremely useful if I want to do large removes. You learned about the dangers of removes, that it just removes files. And it's not certain that if you do that in error, you can get it back. So I just create the mask until it with ls until it exactly shows the files I want to delete. And now I could hit return and it will just delete the file .2.dat. It will not do that right now. The next thing I want to do is Ctrl R. If I use Ctrl R, you can now type, for instance, ls, and then it shows you the last command which had the key ls included. If I just do that again, Ctrl R, L, here it has file, it hits that one. If I put S, it goes here. I can run that command. If I do Ctrl R, cut, I can do this. Ctrl R, ls, and it gives this. If you want to clean your window, you can just type clear. Then the next thing I like to show is finding help. So Unix systems or Linux systems have two ways of help. On some systems, both work. So if you can type man, if there's a command ls you want to learn more about, you can just go in here, man for manual page, and you get a lot of info. You see its pages. With some systems, unfortunately not on a Mac, it would have shown on Dardel, you can just put --help. On a Mac, it doesn't work. And as I had shown, depending on the command, the help page can be very long. If you type the command history, it shows you all the recent commands you had. And for instance, then here I can do exclamation mark 514 and it picks command 514. And if I run it, it just does. There's one important warning. It's about passwords in history. If I now type my password, so this is obviously not my password, but suppose this was my password. If I do it here, it's in the history. And the best thing to recover from that is to reset the password on the machine where you used it. Okay, that is what I wanted to show here. There are a few more comments on this page, which you can read. So since we are over, so the key points is that we showed you about the file system, how to navigate the file system. You see here's a few commands which gets you along my listing, changing directory. We had the change mode to change permissions, making directories, remove, copy, move. Very important is this -I option for M, RM, CP, and MV, because otherwise you can might lose contents. I also discussed on that. Then we showed something about piping and filters, looking at files, echo, redirection, word count, and environment variables. We discussed a few editors, showed a bit about finding patterns, explained wildcards, which is very, very powerful, and in connection with commands like RM, also very dangerous. So you have to tread very careful. Remember my hint, if you do a wildcard, delete RM with wildcards, do LS. Do an LS on your mask to get an exact printout what it would delete. And only once you are happy, you go back in your history and change the LS for an RM. Okay. I think that's us for today.